Hey guys, welcome back to Defeating Hair Loss. My name is Steve and I'm here to help you with your hair. I'm here to help you with your hair loss. I'm here to help you keep the hair in your head, or if you need some hair in your head, get it back through hair transplantation. So today's kind of tip, suggestion, comment, content is all about pricing when it comes to hair transplants. Now, my friend Bobby Dunlap, he's out there on the street and he's bringing all that cool stuff like before they went bald, and he talks about what he sees out there, and we talk about social media and what's being talked about and who's got hair, who doesn't have hair, who had hair. My side of this partnership, if you want to call it, is that I want to bring to you facts. It's not about being biased. It's nothing political, none of that stuff. It's just facts. So today's topic that I want to talk about is pricing of a hair transplant. Now, I'm not going to get into specifics, but I am going to be very clear and concise with you. I'm a very frugal person. It's just the way I was born. I'm not going to talk about me being a victim and had no money growing up and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that when I buy a car, I'm not interested really in paying a lot of money for a car. I don't want to drive an unsafe car. I don't want to drive a car that's going to fall apart. But I'm not that froofy guy that's looking to build his ego with one of these fast cars. I mean, I'd love to drive a fast car if I could pay 10 grand for it, but the Corvette, I think now by today's standards, probably $150,000. So when it comes to a hair transplant, I've always thought that $5,000 is really what someone would pay for a hair transplant. This goes all the way back 30 years. I've always thought that for a boob job, I'll say breast augmentation to be professional, but in the old days called it a boob job. I always thought that was like at the most $6,500. Well, when you're researching, and that's why you're watching this channel, it's part of your research, there's a lot more involved in a breast augmentation that meets the eye. It's a lot more difficult than you think. I know a lot about plastics because I'm very interested in it, and I am very good friends with a lot of plastic surgeons as well. Hair transplantation, everybody's different. And what bothers me out there is the cherry picking of before and after examples and throwing it out to you that you can get a $5,000 surgery for 5,000 grafts. I'm seeing them pop up in this country now. Forget about where overseas. Overseas meaning Europe. Overseas meaning South America. It's really not overseas, but kind of sort of if you fly there. Overseas in the Far East. The $5,000 hair transplant, it comes with a lot of risks. And one of those urban legends out there is everybody's got a friend who knows somebody at the gym who had a hair transplant in some country from afar, and they had a great result. What they forget to tell you is they have the most incredible donor hair. They have very little loss. And of course, for the before and afters, they shave the head to make them look bald. So there's so many things to be careful with. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can't get some results from paying a little less than what the top doctors in the United States charge. I have a friend, his name is, Chris Basagi, Dr. Chris Basangi. The name of the clinic is BHR Clinic, and he's in Brussels, Belgium. He does really good work. I'm a very big fan of his. I worked with him personally in Washington, D.C. in the early 2000s. He taught me a lot. Him being a doctor in Europe and the type of business that he has and the amount of patients and results he gets is incredible, because if it were that easy to do hair transplants, especially living in the European area, why would not everybody just go to some of these countries that sell $3,000 hair transplants or $4,000 US dollar hair transplants? It's not that easy. So there's a lot involved, and you want to make sure that you check all those boxes. And I've gone over this time and time again, and I'm happy to do it again, and I will continue to do it again. The Steve Michaels cheat sheet checklist, right? How to check all the boxes and ask the right questions before you invest in a hair transplant. So we want to make sure that, to keep the playing field level, right? Doctors are board certified. We want to make sure they have an excellent staff. We want to make sure they have the proper equipment. We want to make sure they're doing low volume surgery. We want to make sure they try maybe some other options first, especially the medication to build that hair before you jump into a hair transplant. So be very, very careful out there. I used to study internet marketing. I don't do it anymore. I'm blessed that I don't have the time, very busy helping everybody with hair loss. But there's a large amount of people out there, most likely not watching my channel, that go for the low-hanging fruit. That's what they call you out there with any industry. It's all based on price. It goes back to the days when flat screen TVs first came out. You walk into Best Buy, first thing you start asking the salesperson, what's the difference between that one and that one? That one's $1,000 and that one's $5,000. What's the difference? And then you try to rationalize, because of course we all want to pay less. with a hair transplant, there's a lot of nonsense going on. Always has been. There's a lot of shenanigans going on. Always has been. Do your due diligence. You will find that it is definitely in your best interest to invest in this like you're investing in anything else, whether it's for your future, in the stock market, for investing, not for trading. You want to make sure you're making right choices. So just looking at some ad out there that's trying to mimic these foreign countries, because they're popping up in every city now, that you can get the old Steve Michaels price of $5,000 and you're going to get an FUE procedure, 5,000 grafts, I would be very suspect. I am very suspect. So keep your eyes open, do your due diligence, watch this channel. You'll know what questions to ask and make sure you're making the right decision. Because the biggest issue in coming from me is not so much the $5,000 cost that maybe you're upset with because it didn't work out, but how much damage did they do to the donor hair? So the last thing I'm going to say for this video is what I'm sick and tired of, and I don't get sick and tired of anything, but what I'm upset with is the mindset where someone would say, well, Steve, you're talking to me about a few doctors in this country that it's going to be in the upwards of $11,000, $12,000. It's a lot of money. I'm looking to fly across the sea, the ocean, whatever, and pay $4,000. What's the worst that can happen? I have to shave my head. That's not acceptable to me. You want to potentially make a mistake so you're forced to shave your head? That makes zero sense to me. So I'm looking out for you. This is all about content. Watch out. Keep your eyes open. And for anybody out there that's got a friend or friends that's looking for a cheap hair transplant, make sure you warn them. My favorite saying, one of them, I have a lot, is you cannot afford a cheap hair transplant for many reasons I discussed. Hey, I hope this helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe.